All right, welcome back. And in this video, we're going to talk about one of the four brahmaviharas called equanimity. In Buddhism, equanimity, also called upekṣā, is a profound mental balance and evenness of mind, a state of being steady and calm amidst all life's fluctuations, not swayed by pleasure, pain, praise, or blame, but rather seeing all things impartially, with wisdom and compassion as impermanent and interconnected, allowing for clear, skillful response without emotional disturbances. The other three brahmaviharas are loving kindness, compassion, and empathetic joy. Equanimity helps balance out those three. It's a cultivated heart quality, one of the four sublime states, also called the brahmaviharas. It balances love and compassion and is crucial for wisdom liberation, distinct from indifference. It helps maintain an inner calm and steady mind despite external circumstances like a mountain unmoved by wind. Impartiality, treating all beings equally without favoritism or aversion, recognizing their shared desire for happiness, according to Tibetan Buddhist teachers. Also, a big part of that is non-attachment, non-reaction, equanimity, kind of like in the middle of a pendulum, neither positive nor negative, right in the middle. Understanding impermanence and not clinging to pleasant experiences or resisting painful ones, preventing excessive elation or despair. And it provides a lot of wisdom and clarity, a spacious, clear mind that sees situations as a whole, allowing for wise discernment and skillful action, not passive inaction. And so we'll go over this a little bit more here. So equanimity and non-reaction is at the very heart of Indian spiritual psychology. They are not emotional numbness or suppression. It's very important. You don't want to suppress or become numb. You want to just become balanced and essentially non-reaction. They are the natural expression of self-knowledge and the mechanism by which karma loses its binding power. And so equanimity is inner balance amid pleasure, pain, happiness, sadness. It's clarity without agitation, responsiveness without compulsive action. It's not indifference. It's not detachment from life. It's not emotional coldness. It's not passivity. In Sanskrit, the word is samatva, evenness of vision. Equanimity is called yoga. There's a lot of quotes from the Bhagavad Gita. This is from 2.48. Equanimity is called yoga. There you go. All you need to do is not react. If you do one thing in life, don't react. Have equanimity. When the mind is equanimous, emotions arise and pass. Sensations are felt fully, but the sense of I does not get pulled into them. You could watch the motions, watch the mind, watch the sensations in an equal equanimous state. That's self-realization. It's also non-reaction and the mechanics of karma. Karma, so get this, karma's not action itself, but action plus identification plus emotional discharge. The identification as the doer. That's one of the things that creates karma. When you disidentify as the doer, you stop creating karma. This is super important. This is one of the huge benefits of self-realization. You quit accumulating karma because you disidentify as the doer. Reaction is what binds karma. When something happens, like a stimulus arises, the mind interprets it, desire or aversion arises, reaction follows. A samskara or impression is laid down. That impression seeks repetition. That is karma's momentum. And so avoid desire or aversion. Avoid desire or aversion. What non-reaction does, it breaks the chain, which does not cause a samskara to be laid down. The event still occurs, feeling still arises, but no new impression or samskara is created. This is why the Bhagavad Gita says you have the right to action alone, not to its fruits. That's from 2.47. Equanimity means acting when action is required, refraining when restraint is required, without craving success, without resisting failure. Equanimity, there's a common misunderstanding. If I stop reacting, nothing will change. In fact, everything changes. Old karma still ripens, but without reaction, they exhaust themselves. No new karmic seeds are planted. This is why sages appear active outwardly and free inwardly. The knower, according to the Bhagavad Gita 5.8, the knower of truth knows, I do nothing at all. Here's a deeper shift from the doer to a witness. Equanimity matures into Saksi Bhava, the witnessing stance. Here the realization dawns. Thoughts arise in awareness, emotions move in awareness, actions happen through the body, but the self remains untouched. Bhagavad Gita 2.20, the self is not killed when the body is killed. Equanimity and self-realization. In self-realization, equanimity is no longer practiced, it becomes effortlessly. Why? Because the root air dissolves. I am the experiencer of pleasure and pain. When this falls away, pleasure and pain still arise, but there is no center for them to bind. No karma is being created. You disidentify as the doer. You do not react. You observe. You're more of a witness. The Bhagavad Gita further states in 2.56, unshaken by sorrow, free from craving for pleasure. The hallmark of a Jivan Mukta, or liberated while living being, is equanimity. The summary: reaction creates karma, equanimity dissolves karma, witnessing reveals the self. The self is beyond karma altogether. Karma binds the doer, equanimity dissolves the doer. Self-realization ends the story. That's it. No more karma, no more doer. That's it. And even ultimately, according to the Upanishads, you escape, or you no longer reincarnate back to this earth. And so we could take it a step further, and I like to, equate this with Vadim Zelands' pendulums, which is a fascinating theory, and they actually go together quite nicely. So let's describe Vadim Zelands' pendulum theory. And connect it with equanimity. So he describes a pendulum as a collective thought emotion structure formed when many people give attention, belief, and emotional energy to the same idea. It's sustained by reaction, especially fear, anger, pride, guilt, or obsession. Some examples of pendulums are political movements, social media outrage cycles, religious or ideological fanaticism, workplace drama, family conflict patterns, personal identities, like I must be right, I'm a victim, I'm special. A pendulum feeds on importance, grows stronger through polarization, pushes people into reactive roles. The pendulum doesn't care what you believe, only that you react. Remember this, react. How pendulums control people. Pendulums operate by triggering emotional charge, creating a sense of urgency or a threat, forcing choice between extremes, rewarding identification, like this is me, punishing neutrality. You could see this all over the news. They're trying to trigger your emotional charge. They're creating a threat or a sense of urgency. This weather here, this weather, this threat there, this threat there. They're rewarding identification. So if you're a victim, you have a victim mentality, or if you identify with this sports team, or if you're this or that, and they punish neutrality. So they say pick a side, pick the right, pick the left, you must pick a side, and they punish neutrality. Well, the key out of the pendulum is that equanimity, that neutrality. And so it's fascinating to see with Oscar Wilde's quote, everything popular is wrong. You must go against what normal society dictates if you want to realize the self. This is you must have the courage to do so. So the moment you take offense, defend the ego, feel righteous anger, feel loss of status or control, you are inside the pendulum's field and you are giving it energy. This is why Vadim Zelands emphasizes to lower importance. Non-reaction helps exit from the pendulum. The only way out of a pendulum is not to fight it. Opposition feeds it. The more you think about what you don't like, the more you feed it. Submission feeds it. Neutral observation starves it. Vadim Zelands' core instruction, act without excess importance. This is equanimity in modern language. He's talking exactly what ancient text talked about, but in modern terms. So we could tie pendulums and karma together And from a karmic perspective, a pendulum is a collective samskara. It's an impression. Your reaction plants personal karmic seeds. Repeated reaction locks you into repeating scenarios. Reaction equals karmic bonding. Non-reaction equals karmic release. This aligns exactly with the Bhagavad Gita's logic. Action without attachment does not bind. And then the Upanishads would describe a pendulum as ignorance, avidya, functioning through name and form, sustained by ego identification. One of the Upanishad texts talks about fear arises from the perception of another, and pendulums depend on duality, me versus them, right versus wrong, up and down, success versus failure. Equanimity is the anti-pendulum. This is how you stop the swinging of energy of the pendulum. You withdraw it. Equanimity does three things simultaneously. Number one, it withdraws emotional energy. Number two, stops identity reinforcement. Number three, it returns attention to the self. This is the most important thing. Must always return attention to the self. Society wants us outwardly focused, which brings attention away from the self. This is one of the traps of the world. Always focus on the self. Super important. And one of the Upanishads says also that when everything is seen as a self, nothing hooks you. When everything is seen as a self, nothing hooks you. And so the importance of clarification of equanimity. Equanimity does not mean withdraw from life. It does not mean inaction. It does not mean emotional suppression. It does not mean spiritual bypassing. You can act decisively, you can speak clearly, you can set boundaries, you can change situations without inner agitation, identity investment, or emotional excess. This is why sages and ancient masters appear unpredictable to pendulums. They cannot be polarized, they cannot be boxed into a right or a left or this or that. They're just unpredictable. And that's another way in life too, a little secret if you want to just do things and break out of habitual patterning that you're used to. Let's say you go left when you go out your street to go to work. This time go right, this time go straight, this time, be unpredictable. If you walk down the left aisle of the grocery store every time you go shopping, go down the right, go down the center. Just do things and break out of that patterning too. That actually helps train us all on a subconscious, deeper level. And so in essence, pendulums survive on reaction. Equanimity withdraws reaction. Self-knowledge dissolves the need to react. When the self is known, nothing remains important enough to disturb the mind. And that's it. You are the self. You are equanimity. You are boundless. You are bliss of all bliss. You are everything and nothing at the same time. That's a paradox, isn't it? In the sense, the emptiness of the hand is the only way you can hold the self. And with that, thank you for being here. Stay tuned for another video.